Great day, everyone. Terry Lee Harrison here with Supporting Speakers Live, where you know I'm passionate about supporting speakers everywhere. Today, we're going to be talking all about LinkedIn. And if your speaking specialty is anything to do with business, you've got to be on LinkedIn. And so I have brought one of my friends, one of my colleagues, one of my networking partners who just does such a fantastic job with LinkedIn, Janice Porter, today to give us some top strategies. Welcome, Janice. Glad you're here.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure, and I'm honored to be here.
Oh, it's just a real delight to have you here. So let me introduce you all, tell you a little bit more about Janice. So she's coming to us today from the greater Vancouver area, and she is a LinkedIn trainer, a relationship marketing specialist, and she has an amazing podcast, Relationships Rule. And so I know that you're going to want to connect with Janice by the time our interview is over, and I know that you'll find out all this amazing stuff about her. Janice, I just saw recently, I can't believe where time goes. Have we known each other like 3-4 years now, right? 3 years.
Yeah.
Because I saw that your granddaughter was turning 4, and I was like, how in the world could that be? But it's true, isn't it?
Yes, she did. And I know, because that's one of the measures that you and I have with our little granddaughters, and how quickly they grow and how we have to be there for all of these amazing things that they do.
There you go. It's so true. It's so true. So anyway, so I'm delighted you're here. And for our speaker friends, we have Janice has some amazing strategies to share with you. Some of you are, I just had someone today tell me, well, I'm not really on LinkedIn. But you know what? You can draw that line in the sand and choose to be on LinkedIn any day. Like just to say, you know what, I'm going to show up differently. So Janice has some great strategies. And so I know one of the most important things, Janice, is to optimize your profile. Would you share with our speakers some ways that they can do that?
Absolutely. And I think to speak first, to draw that person in, and anyone else who's thinking, who may say, I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't even know what to do with it, or I'm never there. Oh, perfect. My gardener's outside.
That's okay.
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 It must be Wednesday because the gardeners are here. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. So if you're in business at all, if you're going to speak at somebody's event, if you are on any stage, online or offline, the person that's looking to hire you as a speaker is going to Google you, right? So let's just start there, because when they Google you, if you are on LinkedIn, as you know, as often or not often as you think you are, your profile will show up, because Google indexes LinkedIn really highly. So your LinkedIn profile, if it's good, if it's bad, it doesn't matter. It's going to show up in the top few things, probably at the top if you don't have a highly SEO'd website. So if you're there, you may as well have a good profile. And so you want to have a good profile. And why do you want to be there, first of all? Because people Google you. LinkedIn is a business platform, because it gives you that professional credibility that and allows you to be seen by more people, than your website as well, right? You never know. So you want to be there. And so you want to have an optimized profile. And what does that mean? That means that you want to fill in as many different things as you can about the profile, on the profile. Most importantly, you want to speak to your target audiences. Who are you looking to speak in front of? Those are the people that you want to talk to. So I call them my 4 H's that you need to really pay attention to. Your header, which is your background image, your headline, the piece directly under your name, your headshot should be professional, and your hook. And the hook is the beginning of the about section. And for those who aren't on LinkedIn, the about section, it's not your bio, but it's not your resume, it's not your bio, it's the place where people can get a sense of who you are, who you work with, what pain points you solve, and why they should work with you. Really, more than just a bio, so to speak. So those are the things about your profile, and you should optimize it, because the world is watching, because you will be able to attract the people that are your people and not the ones who aren't. And you want to do that. You want to be able to have people read your profile and say, she's my person, right? So those are the reasons why we should
That's so
optimize.
good.
I can go on, but we only have so much time, and I want you to just get the sense of it. Okay.
No, I think it's great. And we are actually like speaking to the people, right? We're not speaking third person. We're actually speaking to the
We're in
people who are
first
being.
person.
Yes.
Absolutely. We want to speak in a way that will, draw the people to us. That, if you have a cute, a quirky sense of humor, then I think that should come out in your profile, in your about section. I think if you are, um, if you, I don't know, I think you have to be a little bit formal, but not really. If that's not who you are, it's just
Mhm.
like we've changed so much since COVID, that so much has changed in what we do and how we do it. But still, we want to make sure that people know who we are, that they can trust us, that we know what we're talking about, and that we can help them.
So good, so good. And I've been talking when I'm in like group trainings with speakers and sometimes one on one, just about the importance of going back and checking your about section from time to time
Is
because
it
things
relevant?
change, right? And do we want to be relevant? And so, how often do you think that people? I say every 3 months. What do you think?
Well, I think there's some things that can be more fluid than we think. And I'm one of these people, in my house, if I put a vase on that table, it stays there forever.
Yeah.
So I'm not that person. I have to be honest. However, if things switch, or if your focus is now not on the dental industry, but you want to speak in front of real estate agents, then you might change your banner. You might change your headline to attract the audience specifically that you're looking for. Your about section, that takes a little bit longer. And if it's still relevant, I really say it's fine. But if it isn't, then I think you should change it.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so now we've talked about knowing that when people go check us out and look to want to learn more about us, we want to optimize our profile. But there's more to LinkedIn, right? We want to go in and visit from time to time. And you know my story. There was years that I didn't really understand what it was for, and so I barely spent time in there, right? So can you talk to us a little bit about content?
Sure. So if I could just give you the overall um, pillars, like I think there's three pillars. I think there's your profile, there's the content pillar, and then there's the messaging, um, relationship building, um, prospecting pillar. So we'll talk about content first. And by the way, it's a constant change. The algorithms, just like in Facebook and Instagram and wherever, they change, and they've just changed actually dramatically in LinkedIn. And so I never try to figure it out. You just have to do what's you. Do you, right? Just do you. However, I have noticed lately with people that I'm looking at and training and whatever, they think that, I don't know, I think it's a thing that people hide behind sometimes, that if they're putting content out there, people will come to them.
Mm.
Well, you hope that's true, but you still have to talk to people. You need to engage. So when you're putting content out there, pay attention to that content. Okay. And I'll explain what I mean, but on LinkedIn, your content, and this is how the algorithm has actually changed. When, again, I'm going to mention COVID. I don't know why, but when COVID hit, things changed on LinkedIn, and a lot of people came over from Facebook to LinkedIn and thought that they could bring their style of content with them. Lots of emojis, kind of cutesies, and memes and things like that. LinkedIn doesn't like that. LinkedIn wants you to bring strong content to the table. So educational content. It can be education. What do they say?
Oh,
Edutaining.
education.
Yeah, it can be entertaining as well, but they want meat. They want content. So this is the place for you to show your expertise and to bring value to the table. So when you post something, you may have a certain style of doing it, but give us something, and don't be afraid to give your best stuff away. Right? That's what happens. People, hang on to the good stuff. But if people see that you're um, generous with your training or with your advice, they will lean in because they get that and they see that. I've had people say to me often, wow, and on an introductory call, where they're thinking about doing some training with me, and I'll tweak something or suggest something on their profile, and they'll say, wow, you've given me such value already. It's like, great, now they're going to sign up to work with me. Don't be afraid, because people forget anyway, and they need to hear it more than once, and things like that. So make it have some value. Now, it doesn't always have to be your material. It can be, curated material, but make it have value and make it your own. And I have to say one more thing about content. If somebody else is doing your content for you, and there are people that do that all the time, and it's fine, but don't just leave it to them and never look at your LinkedIn profile, because again, I come back to engagement. That's where the magic happens, is if somebody takes the time to comment or ask you a question, you need to acknowledge that and show that you're a real person and that you're interested in what they have to say. And moving forward, I mean, unless, there are still the weirdos out there, just like on any other platform. I had somebody respond to something I posted the other day, and all they were doing, I think it got posted in a group. I posted in a group as well. And this person, instead of commenting, basically pitched something as a comment response. So I just deleted it, done, gone, no big deal. But again, make it have some relevance to what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Do I say too much, too little? I'm not. Ask me if I have.
Well, perfect. Because if you were to give us an hour's worth of things to do or something, like, it'd be too much. Like, I think that this is excellent. And then if people were to say, "Gosh, well, how often should I post content on LinkedIn?" What do you tell them?
Yeah. Well, again, I think it's be you. I think you can post once a week, or you can post once a day, but be consistent.
Yeah.
Okay, just be consistent so that and by the way, you can shake it up in different ways. You can shake it up by doing a video content, or doing a poll, or doing something, a live even, like you can do different
We're live
things.
here today.
Yeah, exactly. So that people see you in as many different ways as possible.
I love it. And you know what? I forgot about the polls. The polls are kind of cool. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So when we talk about, I know you are so huge on building relationships and collaborating. And so would you tell our speaker friends some ideas for how they can collaborate on LinkedIn?
Yeah, that's a great question, because that is where my heart is. And I think that one of the things, just to transition from content to the mailbox, is that a lot of people who don't have a big connection base, maybe they have 150 people, maybe they have 350 people in their connections, their true connections. They think they have to be posting, but not many people see it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there's a whole thing around that I would get into in my training as well. So keep in mind that we need to be doing outreach to build our database, to build our connection base. Do it strategically, but do it because the more people you are directly connected to, the more people will see your stuff. Okay. And so it is important, especially if you have under 500 connections. So, and you don't need to think that you have to have, when we know about this too, Terry Lee, right? That you don't have to have 15,000 connections to make anything work, but you do have to keep building. So how do you do that? I always say the money's in the mailbox, because it's about talking to people. So if I'm looking to expand my reach, and maybe I want to do it because I want to go to New York next year. So maybe I keep moving the wrong way, because I want to speak in New York and maybe get my trip paid for. I don't know. I'm just making this up. So if I use my search feature to find a certain category of people that I want to talk to. Maybe I want to talk at the dental conventions, or the networking events in New York, or maybe I want to talk at an insurance conference or a real estate conference. So I want to find people in that geographic area who are my people to talk to. They might be meeting planners, they might be HR managers in certain companies, they could be influencers in the industry. I start looking and searching for those type of people in that area, and I filter my search accordingly so that I can find some people to talk to. So it's all about knowing how to do that first, and then getting a working list of names to go through on LinkedIn. And then when I get the list, I don't just start connecting to people. I'm very strategic about how I do that. And so I look at their profiles, I make sure that they're active on LinkedIn, and then I start to reach out. When you reach out to people, you obviously have to connect first before you can have a message mailbox conversation. So you reach out to the ones you want to reach out to. When they connect, that's when the magic begins. That's when you start the messaging, let's call it campaign, to build a relationship with that person. The goal is always, if it feels right, right? I always go with my gut. If it feels right, and when it feels right within that messaging back and forth, to ask them if they want to have a Zoom call or a phone call to take it to the next level. And that's when we start talking business. Hopefully that helps.
I think it does. If there are people here who have never messaged before, could you guide us in something to say to get it started? Because I feel like there's a difference in my inbox of the people that are just wanting to sell me immediately to do their website, and the people that are looking for possibly building a relationship. And so how can I not appear as that person that wants to sell them right off the bat?
By first of all paying attention to their profile and showing that you've read it, looking for some key piece, whether it's really small down in the bottom of their profile that says that they belong to a sailing club, or they went to the same university as you do, or they're a fan of whatever. That's the piece that you're looking for, somewhere to build rapport immediately with that in a comment in your messaging once they've connected. So an example might be, thanks for connecting, Terry Lee. I noticed on your profile that you lived in Singapore for several years. How did you adjust to coming back to the States after that? So I paid attention to something on your profile. And then the piece being also that you're asking a question about them. Just like we talk about when we go to networking events, people don't care about us. They only care about what we can do for them first. So we want to make sure it's all about them. And we want to ask them a question that could be conceived as an icebreaker, okay? And then get them talking. I have one of my favorites that I do that I don't want to give it away here today, but it's basically something like sharing something that I couldn't find on their profile, and I give them a little insight into something that I have that I don't share on my profile. That it's just kind of fun, and that they can build from to respond. And I get a really good response to it, and it gets people talking. So it's really just about making it about them as a person first, and then once they've responded and you can see that they're into it, then you can start talking about business. How can you support them? Are they open to a conversation to see how you might be able to, collaborate with each other or help each other out? So, like you're talking, if I go with that example about New York, I say, truthfully, I'm looking to come to New York for the first time. I'm coming anyway, but I'd love to be able to speak there in the such and such industry. Do you have any people that you could recommend that I could talk to? Or maybe you start with places to stay. I don't know. Like, you just feel it out, but you make it real. You just have to make it real and not pitch. Do not pitch.
Yeah. Yep. I'm saying. This has all been so valuable, and I think it is just perfect as far as the information that you've given. Just There's going to be somebody who needs one of these things, who's been wondering about some of these things. And again, Janice and I just want to let everybody know that if you've not been, if you say, oh, I'm not really on LinkedIn, that you can really be on LinkedIn, and it doesn't take much. It's just a decision from you. But when we look at all the platforms, you know, for the people that are doing business with business owners, it is pretty critical, isn't it, Janice, to be there?
Yeah, I think you have to really say, why would I be there? Well, one, it feels comfortable once I understand the platform. Oh my goodness, this is so straightforward. And secondly, is my audience there? Are my prospects there? And if they are, you better be there, because they're looking, and they're looking on LinkedIn, and that's where they're going to find the people they're going to do business with. So you may as well give yourself an opportunity by being there. And when you're there, be the best you.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. Well, everyone, Janice has a gift for you all, and I'm going to share it in the chat, and I'm going to share it here.
And being a relationship person,
yeah, tell us all about it.
Do know that if they're on LinkedIn already, please, I encourage you to reach out to me and ask to connect, and tell me that you heard me and saw me here on Terry Lee's Live, and let's talk.
Sounds awesome. So Janice has this amazing 16-point checklist for LinkedIn. We got the links here for you all in the comments, and we're showing you now. And after hearing what Janice has to say today, I'm sure that you'll want to grab this. So
it will help you get your profile in order. And if you need any more help, feel free to reach out.
Oh, thanks, Janice. So Janice, if there was anything you'd like to say in closing about LinkedIn for speakers, what would be your last final thought?
My final thought would be that I think if you're not using it properly, you're missing out. So LinkedIn is such an underutilized platform, and you may as well get on the train, get on the bandwagon, and be one of those people that uses it properly, because there's very few people that do. It's a very small percentage of people that actually you do content regularly. There's a small number of people that use it as a lead generation tool. So get in there and be one of those people. You will find it useful.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And as we close out today for our speakers, just a reminder, if you've not yet joined us, we'd love to invite you to our, gosh, this sounds silly after talking about LinkedIn, but at our free Facebook group, and you can connect with us there at supportingspeakers.group. We would love to be able to network with you there and to share resources, and speaking of, and to collaborate with you as well. So we're excited to see you. And for everyone, thank you, Janice. Thank you to all our speakers, and we'll see you next time at Supporting Speakers Live.